In today's episode of Storytime Dan, looking at 2007 Volvo B9TL with a Voith gearbox. Customer complaint, the vehicle doesn't select gear intermittently. The previous owner has basically run a cable from the Voith gearbox controller to the gear selector, but has not bothered to use any actual CAN cable and just used a piece of forecourt. So the first test after fitting the oscilloscope in line, it was to replace a temporary CAN line, and the signal cleaned up quite nicely. I made up a new CAN cable to fit and fitted it on the vehicle, and then proceeded with the rest of the diagnosis. When the ignition was cycled, you would get the fault come up, which would basically be an N with a line through it, and the selector wouldn't light up. The power and ground was present. When the scope was put on it, you were just getting a wake up signal from the ECU, but no response from the selector itself. These Voith gearboxes, they work on a time principle, so they'll send a signal and then they'll want that response that the signal's been received, and it's in a time period. And for the selector and the ECU, when you turn it on, it's between 1200 milliseconds and 1500 milliseconds it wants to see. If it doesn't see the signal in that time, it shuts itself down. You can put another selector on it and it still won't go into gear. The whole vehicle has to be shut down, restarted, and the whole process started again. When I stripped down the gear selector, water had got into it at some stage and had basically rotted out most of the track, which is what you'll see in the final couple of pictures. Quite common on them, to be fair. And that was the shitter of the day. Thank you very much for watching. It's a shitter. It's a Trident. It has the cat's pump. It's a 53 plate. It's a shitter. And the complaint is it don't run. Well, here it does run, and it's currently running, but this might be what our problem is. Accumulated pressure 0, voltage pressure 0. I've come to the fuel pump, and the pressure sensor is that thing there, and all I've done is I've wired in my potentiometer, and I've now got a reading on the computer. So I suspect it's either this little loom here or it's the sensor itself. And there you have it. We've got accumulated pressure with the pot fitted. New second-hand pressure sensor off an old fuel pump they had lying around. It reads, if we start this beast up, there we have it, accumulated fuel pressure. Problem solved. Just needs a lift pump. That's the other active bolt. 255s. So yeah, the customer will have to fit that because they haven't got one.